All right, sorry. Hi, everyone. Jennifer, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
I
hi.
did. Welcome to this week's Pet Pro Educators, the Groomer's Cut. I was getting a little funky there. What am I thinking? Excuse the nasal. The sinus is killing me these days, so bear with me tonight. I'm going to try not to get my nasally congestion all over through everyone. But and Michelle and Melissa, they're both
Are together?
yes. So, and they're kind of hard to hear. So tune in and listen hard. If you're joining us for the first time and you are on Facebook, please give StreamYard permission. That way we can see your name in the column and what you're telling us, and we're not just calling you out as Facebook user. Also, we are on 9 platforms tonight, and we are kicking off this week for our month of canine behavior.
So great.
I do want to turn it over to Michelle and Jennifer because I wanted to get an update of the council meeting last night.
Michelle, go.
But now she's frozen.
Oh, well, I will talk until she becomes unfrozen. So yes, the Master Groomers Council on Best Practices did meet again last night. And, the document is finished. Of course, it will never be totally finished. But basically, for those folks that are, haven't been up on this, the Master Groomers Council on Best Practices was formed by Michelle Knowles a year ago, putting out nationally huge calls for any master groomer and any groomer, period, who wants to work together to do research to address issues that groomers face, that we want to know what are the best practices when it comes to things like ears and anal glands and things like that. And Michelle did a wonderful job of creating a structure that was a discussion and integrity around academic sourcing and debate, and how do we actually look through what are the questions that groomers face, and we want to know what the best practices are, and we want to get credible sources for that. Any groomer can be on it, and we have been working very hard for about a year and have created a document. And Michelle, if you're back, you go, because I just was talking while you were frozen.
Can everybody hear me?
Tight.
You're a little muffled.
Can you hear me now?
Better.
Better? I don't know what's going on. I think I need a technical upgrade. Anyway, and what was the question there?
About a Master Groomers Council last night.
Oh, yes. The council was amazing, of course. And we just kind of did a wrap up. We will be soon releasing the PDF to the first edition. Anybody's allowed to come sit on the council. If you don't agree with what we've put forth as a standard of best practice, join the council. Give us your reasons why not. Let your voice be heard. So we should, by the end of the week, we should have a PDF to send out, and soon it will also be available as a paperback from Amazon for about $5 or $10. And that is something you pass along to your client, pass along to your colleagues, pass along to whoever is interested in the best practices of grooming by the Master Groomers Council.
And can we share our logo with them so they can put that on their websites and stuff?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes, it is behind Melissa's head.
Yes.
I'm Melissa. Yeah, there it is. The neat thing about it, I think that there's never been, and just all the kudos goes to Michelle for creating a process by which, we could tackle literally any issue of, what is the right thing to do when you hear people with different opinions about, whether or not to shave or whether or not to squeeze glands or whatever and to have people coming to these meetings with research in hand, often science, publications, journal-based in many cases, and to be able to discuss them and then put it into a written form and something that people can use in their shops, can show to their staff, can use it to train people with, can use it to talk to clients. It's a great a great tool. Knowing that all of this information has been vetted. And the other thing I love about it is that it's a living document. It's not, it's going to be constantly reviewed and renewed every year.
Yes.
Yes, all of those things.
All right. Anything to add to that?
Well, Michelle, why don't you just a quick list of topics that are in the PDF?
Ear cleaning, anal glands, how to use the different tools and what they're for, and how to properly use them or not use them in certain situations. Sanitizing, cleanliness, just protocols that you would hear piecemeal from very many different shops, one here, one there, but we've made a compendium of all of those things. So now they're all listed in one place. Just about those type of things. We do want to eventually include a cat section. We want to include also a business section. Just small things like that. What to do, how to perform certain functions on a very foundational level, so that people who don't have a clue can have something to reference and start there while they do their business.
Like all the things that they ask in all the different groomer groups, we're trying to put together a standard so they can say, okay, well, at least we know that this is the standardization, so I know where to start from.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then if they don't agree with the standard, they're more than welcome to join the council, let your voice be heard, raise your dissenting voice and tell us why. And then we might revote and change the verbiage. And that's how that's going to work. It's a labor of love for people who really care about standardizing the industry.
It's a democratic process.
Any talk about possibly having an in-person meeting in Dallas?
Yes.
There are probably going to be quite a few people there, so maybe we can
I love that idea.
for an evening or do something. I can ask, or one of us can ask Pam if she's okay with that.
We can have a Master Groomer Council Best Practices Roundtable. If you're interested in something like that, come and we'll talk. Let's talk about it. That's what we do. We're going to decide, we are going to collectively decide in what direction this industry moves as we go through it, as we practice our craft.
And as more and more people watch, more and more are going to join. I mean, this is, I think what we're trying to get at is that this is not just for certain people. This is for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. We want, whether you're a year in or 6 months in or 60 years in, you know.
And if you're from a different country and you can speak English, because I do not speak anything but English. Or if you want to bring somebody who can interpret. If you're from another country and you want to join in and talk about different practices around the world as it pertains to your practice, absolutely you are welcome.
Yeah.
Anyone who grooms dogs is more than welcome to come in and talk about grooming dogs. That's what we do.
And the beauty of this is that it is, you know, a living document. It's going to grow with the science. It's going to grow with new information. I mean, we've already got new information that's changed how we see, you know, like that study that was done with the Langerhans cells and skin cancer in dogs being, you know, when sunlight hits their skin. That kind of stuff changes practice. It changes what's best practice because now we have new science about it. So I love that it's a living document. And I also love that the four of us are going to be together at the Pet Pro Classic in Dallas, October 21 to 24.
No, and it'll be the first time ever for the
Right.
four of us.
First time for all of us. Yeah.
We're also going to have a panel.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, we're going to do a
panel as
Pet Pro
well and talk about things that are moving toward the future. So yes, absolutely.
Our tagline as a group is that the Pet Pro educators, are about the future of an evolved grooming profession, and that's what our panel is going to be on. I think it's on Sunday, right?
Yep.
Sunday in
Sunday
Dallas.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, right before
October 24th.
before the awards.
Mhm.
So And anybody wants more information on the Pet Pro Classic, I think the website is petstylist.com, right?
I can find it and post it.
I believe
so
it is
that
Pet Stylist.
everybody can join.
And Facebook user, you are welcome. Thanks for all your hard work, Michelle, especially you for all you did. So Melissa and Michelle, why are you together? Even though you both reside in Arizona, you don't live all that close together.
I actually rescued a little dog that was rescued by another groomer, and so I took it and then I got it to the Shih Tzu rescue, and it was up a half an hour away from where Michelle lives.
Oh, nice.
So I said, I'm already driving, the dog, transporting the dog there. So if you don't mind, I would love to come and see your face because we haven't seen each other in forever.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's great. It feels so good to be together again.
Well, it's nice to check in with friends face to face.
Of agoraphobic.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah,
1 to 5 of agoraphobia. She comes and checks on me when it's been a while.
I need to make sure she's functioning and she's okay. Especially her husband's not here.
When's he get home?
He's off doing this amazing graduate program. That's so exciting.
Finals.
Back this coming Sunday.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
You're in the home stretch.
My husband has gone too this week. He's a college professor off for the summer, and he's gone to see his mother, his sisters, and his children on the East Coast who he hasn't seen in 2 years. So it's amazing. It's good that everybody's vaccinated and they get together again. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
all right, we're going to move on to what our topic is tonight. Talking about the canine psychology. And I just kind of threw it together because I'm like, take it away, ladies.
Yeah. I vote that Michelle goes first.
All right. Dogs are awesome.
Agree.
They absolutely have a language. They have a way of thinking. They have a culture, if you will. Dog culture is parallel to human culture, but it still is very unique in having a dog culture. They do have a language. They do have a way of thinking and a way of presenting themselves to the world socially that makes them somewhere on their scale of culture. Learning that language is one of the most amazing things that has happened to me over the years as I've groomed dogs. Learning how they think, how they react to my voice or my energy. I think I've learned the most from dogs in my life that I have from any textbook or any human or any course that I've ever taken. Just the privilege that I've had to care for so many, I always learn something, and they always remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing. Learning how to talk to them on a level that they can understand and not be fearful of, I think is a gift. It's a skill that can be learned. It's a gift you give to the pets that have to be groomed. Instead of rushing them through and making the experience really scary and really just perfunctory or factory made, you can actually make a connection with these dogs and make their life quality. You just give them a better quality of life. If they have to do this every single month for the rest of their lives, it should be quality time. They last so little. They just don't last that long. Why not make every moment we can a joy to them because they are so pure? And that's where I start. That's my foundation of how I interact with dogs.
And I'll just say I had a PowerPoint that I put together as the science history teacher about some of the science research that's been done about the canine brain. And one of the things we know from DNA studies, from anthropological studies, and it would take, you'd have to see my 1 hour human-dog coevolution PowerPoint to learn who the major names are in all this. But there's been a lot of serious academic study done globally, Vienna, in Sweden and in Britain and in the US, all the Ivy Leagues, all of the great people that are working in genetics, people that are working in archaeology and anthropology, they are making some serious discoveries. And one of them is that the human and dog species are the only two co-evolved species, meaning that they evolved together, changing each other's brains, behaviors, physical structures, diets. I mean, everything. And there's actually some very good data that humans and dogs are, that dogs are responsible for human survival, both during the Ice Age. There's actually anthropological evidence of that. And now we have these new studies that have been done about the way they read our faces, the T-zone muscles with the way where we show emotion in this area of our facial muscles. And they've proven that dogs actually, they use lasers and computers and facial images, and they actually tracked the movements of the dog's eyes and showed that they read our face muscles. And I have been sharing this with groomers on the hopes that they would do just like you've started off, Michelle, by saying the first thing we should do with these dogs is just connect, enjoy, let them find us. So even when we're masked at work, pull down our mask, I get close to the dog, I make eye contact, I smile, I say their name, "Hi there, Bowie." And I smile at them and let them look and make that eye contact and read my face so that they know that I'm a friend. And then they go from there. You have to, as you say, learn to read their body language. One of the things I look for is, do they take a step toward me, or do they put a paw toward me? Do they lean toward me? If they show, after I greet them and show them my face and let them read and make that eye contact, which only of all the canines, the only one of the canine species that can actually make eye contact with us is the dog. Foxes can't, wolves can't and won't, jackals, coyotes, dingoes, all the other canines, none of them makes eye contact with us except the dog. And the dog actually reads our eyes and reads the muscles around our face. And they've even done studies into why certain behaviors, like why do dogs do this thing, where they go like that? And they found out why. Do you know why? Because they're reading our face muscles. If you have a muzzle, this is a little test you can do. If you have a muzzle on your face, try to look at something in the distance and then realize that if you tilt your head, you can see it better. If you've got a nose out here, you can see things better if you tilt a little bit. And that's why dogs, when you're making a face, they're like, "Oh, what are you doing there?" They're reading you. So, really enjoy that moment, make that connection, and then they can know. And then if they give you that signal back, a paw, a lean, a relaxation, I don't know, Michelle, what else do you look for in terms of a response from them that indicates how they want to be handled?
I think a big part of it is that understanding that they actually have a purpose outside of. We actually have a purpose outside just being a haircut. That there is a living being in that fur that we as groomers are so focused on. Mm-hmm. And I think that we have to, that has to be our first consideration before anything else, is acknowledging or honoring that. Because as soon as they walk in, no matter what state they come in whatever that psychological state is, whether it's the goofy, super happy lab, that is just loves everybody and that tail is just going a mile a minute, or, this little tiny multi-poo that's scared of its own shadow. Understand that animal, as soon as it walks in, it has picked up on all the energy in the room, all the scents in the room, all the noises in the room, before it ever has a chance to make an eye-brain connection with what's going on around it. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of stuff to be hit with.
Yeah, as soon as either they walk in, or if you're taking them into your mobile grooming van, or if you're, scooping them up as an in-home groomer, a house call groomer, they don't know you. That's a lot for this little species to process. And we just kind of jump into let's just right into the whole grooming thing and don't take into account any of that.
But do you think that's
Oh, thank
we're
you.
talking dogs this month, not cats?
Yeah, that's why.
Sorry.
I know that.
She's put his butt in the camera. He's like, "That's how I feel about dogs."
Archimedes, he doesn't care if I'm busy or not. It's all about your job is to pet me. So Angie said that dogs are the only mammal that has a prostate. They're also the only other mammal that understands to look where somebody is pointing rather than at their finger. And I agree. I have a 15-year-old Australian Shepherd who's deaf now, and you can't use verbal commands anymore. You have to use hand signals. So I do this for come on, or I use hand signals, and she's completely all over that. Dogs actually also have a part of their brain that is triggered. And they've read it. They've actually measured it with MRIs. That is actually triggered when they are communicating with us, and they've also done vocalization studies. There's a fascinating series of videos at the PBS, public broadcasting website, the TV show Nova. They actually did some studies about, like, you can actually tell what they're saying, their vocalization. So, for example, they made a whole bunch of sounds or recordings of dogs, and I'm not a very good impersonator, but once, and then they just give humans a set of headphones, and they just listen to the vocalizations without seeing the animal, the dog making the noise. And they'll say things like, means, oh, he's sad and he wants out, or, ruff, ruff, he's happy, or he's scared, he's angry, but I mean, some of them were more subtle. Some of them were, like, ooh, they were lonely or they were tired. But 86% of the human interpretations of those vocalizations of the dogs were accurate. And likewise, they did studies with MRIs on dogs' parts of their brains that would trigger by the sounds that humans were making: laughter, crying, anger, happiness, singing, and to watch the different parts of the dog's brains actually fire up for that, meaning that, they understand our emotional states, even from vocalizations, as do we. If we listen to them, if we just listen to them, they're not communicating with us. They are communicating with us. We just have to learn how to read it, right?
It's a rich and beautiful language that incorporates scent and sound and frequency, subtle body changes. It's very slight tonalities, many of which we probably can't hear. And that is their culture. And the more that we can understand what they're saying when they say it, I think it enriches your life. I have conversations with many of my clients, and it just astonishes me that, and animal communicator aside, you can absolutely have a conversation with an animal. If you spend any time at all with your own pet, you know absolutely what they're saying when they're saying it. You know what their body means. You know what time it is, because they'll tell you.
And they have an intuitive ability. Like, we have to learn to be as intuitive as they are, and just sort of trust those feelings. Just trust your impression. I've told this story before about how we have a 3 to 4 hour walk on water schedule in case a dog is with us for a prolonged period of time. And one of the dogs that was waiting to be picked up and go home in a crate was resting comfortably, and all of a sudden sat up and started at the door going, clearly wanting out. And I told one of my staff, go walk the dog. And he said, oh, he's only been here 2.5 hours. He doesn't need to be walked yet. I'm like, go walk that dog
They talk to
right
you.
now. And then he took the dog out. He came back in. The dog had clearly immediately gone potty the minute it went out the door. And he looked at me and he said, "How did you know?" I said, "Because the dog told me."
How did you not know?
How did you not know? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to always remember that it's always trying to communicate with us. I mean, I have quite a few dogs at my house. I live with dogs, and I grew up with dogs. So I always have to remember that, to me, a lot of times I'm so busy with what is going on around me that I'm not focused in on them. And I have to understand that they are 100% focused in on me. And so, when you're absent-mindedly doing things, they're trying to read you and trying to, pick up on what is going to happen to me next, and what, the whole entire time. And I think that we don't ever take that into consideration. We are so absent-mindedly thinking, okay, I'm going to do it, 2-clip comb and this, and I'm going to shampoo and that, and all the things that we're going to be doing. But the most important thing, we haven't thought about it all. We haven't had that kind of actual time to focus on them.
How is that baby doing? Does he need to smell every single thing that you put on him? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He needs to know what's happening. That's fair.
Right. That's only, I call that honoring them.
Yeah.
So you let them smell the equipment before you start using it on them.
Every time. They need to know what's happening with their body.
How about for those seasoned dogs that are just like, I'm here, let's get this done?
Well, eventually,
they're even better.
Those dogs will turn into dogs that don't care what you do, because you've built a whole lifetime of trust.
Yeah.
I do a 21-year-old poodle who is deaf and blind now. And as soon as she smells me, she knows exactly what to do, even though she's just a doddering little old lady. She still knows exactly what to do. I do everything in the same order. She smells everything. She knows where she's at while she's being groomed. And we get through it. But that's a joy to have lived that long and serviced that dog for so long that you have that relationship. When she can't see or hear, when she's at her most vulnerable, we have this beautiful relationship that we just love each other through. And I think that it's really nice. My life is so much more enriched because I listen more than I talk to dogs.
Yeah, I so often see conversations on social media amongst groomers who, they're very interested in establishing criteria for how they're going to fire dogs, instead of, trying to understand, where the problem comes from. And instead of seeing them as some just money that you can get through as quickly as you can on an assembly line, really actually enjoy that relationship. I think my favorite column ever in Groomer to Groomer magazine was yours, Michelle, last Valentine's Day, where you wrote this beautiful essay about the love aspect to our jobs. And I've kept it. It's on my desk, and I keep it nearby and read it often. I love what Angie said in our chat room. Angie said that, it was describing how dogs have a will of their own. They can decide things. They can communicate things. They are creatures with a will and with a brain and with a mind, and they feel pain and they feel pleasure and they feel connection and they feel mistreatment.
They are very habit creatures.
Yeah.
They like their routine. They like their consistency.
They like to know what to expect.
When I do know I don't groom like I used to, but when I did, it was the same. And every single one of them knew exactly what to expect every second on my table. And it just made the process go faster.
Yes, exactly.
And they knew the last thing I did you could see them start getting fancy, and they're like, oh, I'm almost done. Here comes the bandana.
I love
So
when they get like that, when as soon as you get that bandana or bows out,
they're
or
like,
whatever, they get all excited. So tell me that animal is not thinking and feeling and understanding the process that it's going through. And we really, really need to start to honor that and look at them as, like Jennifer said, far more than just money crossing the palms of our hands.
Mhm.
We are affecting their actual psychology. We are, how we treat them is going to set a precedence for, each time that it has to come back.
And Angie agrees with you, Dara, that a consistent pattern, especially with an older dog, is really helpful to them. When they can know, it just helps them to feel safe. I mean, it is stressful getting groomed, especially the younger dogs that aren't used to it yet. It's stressful.
My favorite analogy is, imagine that your family take you to a foreign country where you do not speak the language at all or know any of their customs, and then they bring you somewhere and give you to someone that you do not know.
And then they force you to have spa treatment.
Yeah, that's right. And now this person is like, a groomer. You could be anywhere from, oh, this little lovely puppy, all the way to, oh my God, this is not my favorite breed, kind of person. So you don't know this person, you don't speak the language, and now they're gonna put you in a bathtub with water and soap, and they're not paying any attention to how you feel. They're paying attention to getting you clean, getting you dry, getting you on that table, getting this haircut. Stand still, stand like this, move your head like this. Mm-hmm. That whole time, and yet you don't understand those commands. You don't know what that person's asking of you. And so when mom and dad come and pick you up, you're like,
that would really be horrifying. That would be horrifying.
It would be a horrifying thing. Yeah. And so when people say, oh, every time Fluffy goes to the groomer,
it's a little wacky.
Yeah, or he freaks out or whatever, because people don't do it enough. The client doesn't bring them enough for minimal things like just a bath and a brush out, or nail trim, to get used to the people and all that. And as groomers, we don't honor them enough to kind of try and hone in and read their body language and understand their language. So it's it's kind of a double-edged sword.
I love what my friend and partner Lisa Herbold said. She said that the patterns also help her nervous dogs, but that she has a few that actually help her out with the groom, such as lifting their paws and assisting her. And I love that. I love to hear that. That is great.
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Music.
Sorry. Husband calling.
I like that.
Well, I think it is. The psychology of a dog is something that is forever evolving, because as we evolve with how we coexist with them, their psyche changes, and so does ours. Because look at 50 years ago, how dogs were looked at compared to how dogs are looked at today.
Yeah. I mean, everything has changed.
They were expendable.
Right, they were expendable. They lived outside.
In many cultures, there's still food sources.
Exactly. So look at where we are now with the trends that we're seeing with pet ownership. And so they are going to evolve as we evolve with what kind of relationship we build with them. A lot of people are building relationships with them as that is an extension of their family. Mm-hmm. It has become a family member. People are not having children as much either, and they're opting to just have pets. So we have to really look at our social changes to how animals are gearing what we do as groomers, and understanding things. Because a dog that lives outside all the time, that doesn't get to go anywhere, is going to be far more scared than somebody else's dog that goes everywhere with them. and has been exposed to other people and socialized differently. So know that.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Keeps coming.
My dogs hate going to the groomer.
Mhm.
They hate going to the shop. They're like, oh God, we're here.
Well, personality aside, because some just are homebodies. I mean, they have their own personalities too.
Absolutely. They certainly do have their own personalities. One of the things, though, that I also try to teach my staff, and I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts about this. And by the way, Angie Coates, I love your latest little story about how the dog had been trying to tell you the right order for which to do her feet, and that made all the difference once you learned it. That's so cool. One of the things I try to teach my staff is that there are well-established rules of the road when it comes to behavior and training. There is a universal language, and it's kind of like, you come to, what an octagonal red sign universally means. It means stop, no matter what the language is that is spelled out on the sign. If it's red and it's octagonal, it means stop. We have universal forms that have been developed in terms of basic communications, and they work. They really work. Like, the dog is on your left side when you walk and not your right side. The dog understands heel, sit, stay, stand, down, come, off, leave it. These are, and the combinations thereof. And when I teach my staff, they're like, why won't this dog walk with me to the bathing room? I'm saying, I go stand next to the dog. I say, Fifi, heel, and start walking, and make them stop and sit before I open the door, and so on. My staff is just amazed. How, why, how, what, because this is the universal language. Everybody who works professionally with dogs, in my opinion, should know basic obedience, because it's about communication. That's all. And it troubles me, the number of groomers that have not a clue.
The dog is always looking to us for what is to come and what to do. That is their entire role, is to be of service to us in some way. And so their brain is always thinking, what does my owner want me to do? That's why they would say master and pet, because, what is... Sometimes, like, I took a video this morning and posted on my Facebook with my dogs. I was having my morning coffee and breakfast, and I look over, and everybody, like, one's over here, and I have other ones all right there, and they're all like, what you got? What you doing? We're waiting to eat our breakfast, too. They know that I got the food.
Well, and even when you don't, if I stay home, which I have done for a couple of days now, my 3 little dogs will follow me from room to room, even when there's no food involved. They just want to be a part of what I'm doing. If they need, I may need somebody to bark out the window or add a leash, and they're there to do the job. And I'm just happy to take
Oh my gosh, I can't walk anywhere. Yeah. I get up from my seat and they're all like, "Whoa, where's she going?"
Yeah, follow you, right? Yeah, they have to follow you.
I got my 3.
Like, wait, your entourage is getting up. If I get up, they all get up.
That's because they're pack animals, and they understand you're their pack. And if you have a pack with your dogs, that's all they want to do, is just be together as a group. I have 5 dogs ranging in age from 2 to 15, 3 of whom are quite elderly, 2 Australian Shepherds, 3 miniature poodles. They're a pack. They are an integrated family unit. And when we walk, like if I take them to work with me, they walk, and I walk from one room in the shop to the other. They want to just together, it's all, that's natural behavior for them. And we should love that and celebrate that.
Well, that's part of the psychology of the dog, is that is their purpose.
That's their thing. That's
right.
Their jam.
To be
yeah.
you. I'm constantly like, oh, why are you under my feet? I'm busy. I'm trying to do something, and my husband's like, well, where do they want to be?
Yeah.
It's true. And then like, hey, where's Judy?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the dog? So it's
That's when you know there's something going on.
Yeah.
Why aren't they around? What
What are they up to?
to?
You know, Lisa makes a really good point. She says with some dogs, they seem to go out of their way to make things difficult, and you can see them almost smirking at you. Honestly, one of the things that I've try to teach my staff, if they're, like if an owner is about to come, they've called and they're going to be there in 15 minutes to get the dog, and you're not quite done yet, and you're hurrying. Have you ever noticed how when you get more stressed when you're grooming, they sometimes will behave worse? Why is that? Why is it that they choose the time when you need them to behave the best to behave the worst? Because they are reading your stress. And you have to take a deep breath. It only takes a couple of seconds to recenter yourself. And I'm sure Michelle and Melissa, you're much more expert in these mindfulness exercises even than I. But I can tell you that just a deep cleansing breath and just try to reset. If I feel my temperature rising and I get stressed, I'm in a panic, that's when the dog's behavior, because they're echoing and mirroring what they are reading in us. If we are stressful,
a pheromone of when we are stressed as humans, we produce pheromones that read off stress or fear or anxiety, that kind of stuff. And so they're picking up on those pheromones.
They don't know what the fear is.
Yeah, they don't know what you're so upset about.
What's going to happen? And so now they're on high alert. And so that is on a level that's completely nonverbal.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why it is so important for us to realize that if there's stress around us, that we need to just center ourselves and take some deep cleansing breaths and really just focus on the calm relationship with this animal to do this job of getting this haircut done or whatever needs to be done. It's so our mindfulness, our mood is so essential to a good groom.
Yeah. Have you ever sent anybody home working wise because of that?
Yes, I have.
I think I have, but I will give it. I have a process in which I put them through that will ramp up until their anxiety tells me it's time to stop. So there is a certain point where I will send them home. Or
Yeah.
I never invite the owner to leave. I'm just like, give me about 10 minutes or so to see where this dog is right now.
Sometimes
it's hard for people to leave everything at the door when they come into work. It's such an emotional group to start that when you're already coming in and everything else in your life is there, you just can't let it go and you bring it right in and it just affects everything.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if you are feeling it and you can't calm one of your coworkers or with a 5-minute break or even just a 60-second deep cleansing breaths,
Yeah.
I usually try to get people to just ground themselves at the table. But if I see somebody taking, starting to get their voice and their tension starts to get up, I will actually send them out for a break sometimes. And if they refuse, then they got to go home. Yeah.
Do you notice when it happens to you?
I have just in the last few weeks, caught myself at one time feeling like I just can't do this dog. And I did. I said, I actually passed it off to somebody else.
I think it happens more to me when I work on my own dogs. Because they try me more. So I find myself having to either just end the session or have to be like, all right, put them down and leave them run around for a little while so I can get myself back to center. And it's usually when I start to hear myself repeat stop over and over again. If I keep saying stop, would you stop?
Oh, that's a good, I didn't think about that. That's a good way to think. And that, you hear that on the floor a lot.
And I know that I am not
Yeah.
working in balance. I am completely out of balance, and I'm working in frustration. And
Yeah.
that makes the dog act even worse.
We get that a lot with students. We hear a lot of students
Yeah.
doing that. And I usually am going, but dogs don't understand stop. They
Yeah.
understand no.
Or
So
and
stop
or
doing anything.
how about giving them a positive command like stand, stay, stand, stay. You know, put the hand in front of the face, give them the stay command. And then praise the good behavior. Good dog. Good job. Good job. And if they are starting to, jumble about again, then you immediately say no, you correct the bad behavior, no, and then reset them, stand, stay, or sit, stay. And just, we have to be consistent and repeat. It's the same way as if we're raising our own children. We just have to be consistent. We have to repeat over and over again, and just work with them. And if we can't, if there's something that can't be done in a humane way, then you just have to, I don't know, send them home, try again another day, or,
Yeah.
bring them in the next day. I will, I love having owners stay. I don't understand grooming shops that don't want owners to come back into the grooming area. We have owners come in probably every day to stand at the table and comfort a dog or hold a dog who's disabled or infirmed or something. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. I've always been an open concept like that.
Yep.
Speak up, Michelle. Sorry.
I said the liability of coming into having clients come into the grooming area is what a lot of people are thinking when they don't let clients back.
I've never seen any insurance company say that. I mean, my insurance guy told me that if somebody is in my lobby and slips and falls, it's no different than if they're borrowing my bathroom in the back and they slip and fall. There's
too much equipment. They come in with their open-toed sandals. They don't know how to act around other dogs. I really don't want them in my area. But I have a lobby, and they can see everything that's going on. And if they want to stand right there and look, and as long as they're not, my dog, they can stand right there and see the entire procedure. Otherwise, no, I will not invite them into the grooming area. There's scissors going. There's other dogs on the floor in various states of being groomed for whatever. Sometimes if we're doing a hand scissor, we'll put that dog on the ground, and he'll have the floor for a minute so we can see proportion and how the hair is falling. And then he gets put back up again. I can't have people back there that don't know anything about dog language, how to act, not to reach, not to talk to a dog who's being scissored. Like that's a lot.
It is. And, and every shop is different. And a lot of it has to do with the size and the traffic. My shop is a big, wide open, plenty of space. We can all have our own little tables, and there's a big center walk-through aisle, and there's 4 different rooms just on the first level. And, so we got plenty of space to do that kind of thing. It works for us. So it's rare.
I usually, if I do have an owner stay, I have them stand on the opposite side so that their back is to the room.
Oh, for sure. Me too.
Yeah.
I like Angie's exercise with an employee that is needing to calm down, to have them go fold laundry, because it's a simple routine thing that brings her energy down. I love that, Angie. That's great.
Yeah, just having those little safeguards in place. Those are important little things that most people don't think about. But what we do is such a specific way of focusing our talent and energy and thoughts and all of that it can be very overwhelming at times, especially like you said, Jennifer. We not only work under time constraints, but we also work under like our personal best, that we are, as groomers, are so we scrutinize our work so harshly, a lot. So it's usually, didn't that owner ever show up and you're like, damn, I just want 15 more minutes, the dog's walking away and you're going, shit, I see this and that here and this and and you're like, oh, I could have got that if I had more time. So we put that pressure on us, and we wear that suit the whole time that we're working with this energetic being on the table.
Mhm.
And they don't, underdogs have zero concept of time.
It's just now.
Right. It's just now,
Mhm.
this minute. And so we
Yep.
are completely not in the moment at all. And
Yeah,
so
that's so important.
mindfulness, we need to reconnect that, because we're so disconnected from that dog.
Yeah, I agree with you. Dogs live absolutely in the moment. They're very very existential. It's right now. They're not in the past. They're not in the future, and that's another great thing about dogs, of course.
That's how I live my life.
That's
I want to be. I want to be like my dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't coincide with having normal human relationships, but there you
Yeah. And see, I would tend to want to be like my cat.
Right.
I mean, my cats get everything. They eat out of crystal bowls. They, get to do whatever the hell they want. And they get to treat everybody crappy and still get loved on and fed.
That's the life.
That's the life. They have servants. I am a human servant to my felines. Whereas my dogs are like, I say this all the time. No matter what, I was telling Michelle earlier, I'll see stuff online, and so that I don't jump into the drama or create any more drama. Usually when I'm scrolling, my dogs are sitting on my lap, and I'll get my phone and be like, do you see this? Can you believe they said this or that or whatever? Talk to my dogs, and they look at me like, my God, you're a genius. And if I did that to my cat, he would show me his butthole. So there is a difference in the two different species. Dogs they want to know us.
Yep.
Even ones that are so scared and, are afraid and have those kind of anxiety issues, there's a part of them that innately wants to trust us.
I think that all of us are looking for connection. I think that as humans and as dogs, because we co-evolved, we are looking for connection. The most hurt of us, the most angry, the most scared, we're all looking for a connection. And when we can achieve that, it makes the world a better place. So as many times as you can do that a day with a dog, with a colleague, with a stranger, hold a door, say something nice about somebody's outfit. I picked up some salmon on the way home from work the other day, and I had ordered it to go. Well, I was all in hairy work clothes, and I went in this really nice restaurant, Firebirds, if anybody knows of it, just to get my little to-go bag. There was a lady having a nice dinner. She was stunning. Bright red pants, slacks that were tailored perfectly, a black shirt with a little ruffle here, and a bright red blazer to match. And then she had black hair and dark skin. She looked like money. And I told her about it. I was like, ma'am, you look good today. And she's like, thank you, I know, right? Make somebody's life wonderful, even if that life is a canine. Think of all the opportunities you get to say something nice or make a connection with someone. I think half of the troubles of the world are because we've lost our connection to each other. It matters. It matters.
Yeah.
Meet your neighbor. Say hi to a stranger. Not the ones that stink of rum holding in the night. The other kind that are just trying to go from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the same thing with the dogs. Take that extra minute when they first come to the table. Look at them in the eyes, smile at them, let them see your face muscles, let them read your intent, let them make that eye contact with you so that they can, do what they have been co-evolved with us to do, which is to connect to us. They are a species built to be in relationship with us and us with them. And I love cats too, but we are not co-evolved with cats. We are co-evolved with dogs. And that's why, to a certain extent, I don't trust people that don't have good relationships with dogs. I kind of worry about people that don't like dogs.
Dogs can be neuro as well, though. So just keep in mind when you hold them epithet.
Yes, that's true.
Dogs can be crazy. Okay?
Yes, they can, just like people. Yeah.
Just like they're people. So
They do act like they're people.
And no, I mean, it's true. There is
They look like
dementia.
them, too.
Dogs get dementia. Dogs get mental illness. Dogs have, they do. They have.
genetic defects.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It happens.
That is true. Emotional dysregulation disorder and things
They
like
have
that.
to understand, groomers have to understand that it has to be looked at as an individual. Just because we say that dog psychology is to do the A, B, C, and D, and then this dog does,
Only
only
D.
D, yeah, whatever.
This is an excellent point because some dogs don't like eye contact.
Right, exactly.
Some dogs
So
don't like to show teeth.
teeth, right.
You have to read them.
Yes,
Some-
exactly.
They're all across the spectrum, and some
Right.
of them are so social. They'll get right up here. They'll smile with every
Yeah.
single tooth they have and lick you, and they're great. But some dogs, that means something different. But it usually involves different muscles.
Yes, that's right. And that's right. We have to learn to read their responses. And if they don't want to, then we don't force that on them. Absolutely. It's the same thing as with people. Yeah.
We just honor that they are an individual. That it's the moment I started actually understanding the fact that this is an individual creature, just like I want to be looked at as an individual. I don't want to go see my hairdresser or my doctor or my massage therapist, and I'm just looked at as like chattel, like a part of a big group of whatever, and I have no individuality to myself. And as groomers, we are just known to be staunch, independent, individualistic type of people. So think about that, that we're looking at these animals as the same. A dog is a dog is a dog. But they have a lot of similarities, but each dog comes with its own set of idiosyncrasies and personality and things, and they carry trauma.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
We need to honor that. We need to understand that just because the last Yorkie you did, acted like this, doesn't mean the next Yorkie you do, or the doodles. Doodles can be crazy, and there's a reason behind that because of the two different breeds that you're mashing together genetically. But understand that when you see that doodle and you automatically assign it that energy, crazy dog. The whole time that dog has no way to prove otherwise. So it's almost like, and I don't mean to like belittle like racism, but it's like breedism, assigning them something like they do with pit bulls or whatever. And we need to stop that, and we need to just look at them as an individual dog.
Exactly. Yeah. All dogs are individual. That's right. Even within breeds or coat types or whatever.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It's, there are certain breeds are going to have certain inherent characteristics. But we have to, really make sure that we leave room to understand their individuality.
Enough said.
On that note, we're calling it a night because we're at 58 minutes.
Hey.
So we're doing behavior next week again?
This whole month, yeah. So I kind of put it out there, but we can I know.
I'd love to have people in our audience put out questions that they would like to see addressed about behavior, and that some of our behavior experts here.
I know we've got quite a few that watch. I know we got Chrissy's out there somewhere and with her podcast, and Angie, if you're still watching, I know you do a lot with behavior too, besides you guys here.
I think it's just makes you a well-rounded groomer when you start to understand other facets and not just the haircut.
It enriches your experience.
Yes. Yeah.
It really makes the job better because burnout comes so easy.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a more rich experience while you're grooming, you're going to tend to want to be there more often and perceive it in a different light rather than, oh my gosh, this is just a grueling job, which it can be. So, learn how to see pearls in the mud.
Yeah, it is something that as groomers, I think that we should strive for is a better understanding of the creatures that we have to work with.
Mhm.
It's really important. Amen.
Dara, what's for next week?
What's up for next week?
Oh, we had talked about considerations of working on a living creature. We kind of covered all that tonight too.
Mhm.
So I can change it to something else, or if we have a watcher or a viewer, like you said, then I've got development stages and related issues
Oh, that's good.
and safety as it relates to behavior.
I took I took a puppy development class, and I will share what I learned about that. That's great.
So we did a lot. So next week maybe we'll recap and see if we can get
Some questions.
yeah. Oh, thank you, Lisa.
Yes, we love you in blue.
Yeah, I know that's
Yeah, this is a good color. Oh, it's TJ Maxx. I love TJ Maxx. Best place to get shirts. Sorry. So yeah, we'll figure it out for next week. If somebody wants to throw out or somebody wants to come on and be a guest with us, please speak it out or forever hold your peace when we talk about it.
Communication is out there.
Yep. But maybe we'll get some. I'll do another post a little later and see if we get someone.
And don't forget to make your plans to come to the Dallas Classic.
Yes.
I know. I posted the link. Dallas
Yep.
Classic.
Petstylist.org, October 21 to 24 in Dallas, Texas.
I think
The
it's
Pet Pro Educators, we will be there.
No, it's so exciting.
.com.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Petstylist.com, yes.
it's posted in the link.
Oh, okay, good.
Yep, I posted it.
All
So.
four of us, since they are not going to do interim this year, I will be there as well, and I will be teaching along with the other ladies. So I will be doing a feline program.
Yay.
Skin and coat.
Archimedes says, yay.
Hey.
Yay.
I'm thrilled or unfazed by my celebrity.
Ooh. All right. Well, closing credits, gals.
All right.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.